great topic of local interest has been to know the name of the river. A lot of people would like for it not to be called the Cooks River. And there've been different research projects, and there hasn't ever been one name that anyone's agreed upon or that anyone's been able to consolidate out of all of the research that's been done. It was never an Aboriginal practice to name a place after a person. The names that we put onto country and onto rivers name specific sites and specific locations where you might go to fish, where you might go for ceremony, where you might go to birth babies. It's an understanding the river to be a flow of sites, a flow of resources and a flow of sites of engagement. Then it helps us understand why the river might not have one name for its whole length, but rather be a chain of names in terms of, limiting the amount of plastic that's found floating in the river. Getting people to think about that catchment and flow and how, that one little bottle that fell out the door of the car into the gutter the other day and you didn't worry about picking it up, thinking about how that's going to get washed down through the culvert in the next rainstorm and pop out down here in the boat harbour. It requires that philosophical idea of the river being an organic part of a network.
All this land around here was all wetland. It was a continuous water space. It wasn't a really well-defined river at all times. It had lots of ups and downs, sometimes running almost dry, at other times flooding. A combination of factors make this one of the most altered rivers that you would ever find. It's the long continuous history of this river as a point of controversy in the city. The Cooks River, what a terrible state it's in. We need to work on it, blah, blah, blah. People getting flooded, they're losing their livelihoods, all of that sort of stuff. That was the sort of thing which was talked about in the newspapers continually in the late 19th, early 20th century. And the Cooks River Valley Improvement League, as it was originally, and then later on its replacement, the Cooks River Valley Association, were key community organisations which got together to agitate for dealing with these problems. The river has a long history of pollution of various sorts. In more recent years, it's just been mainly two things: sewage overflows, which is dangerous, and the other is plastic and other waste pollution.
I'm Paul Thomas. I do stuff for wires here, plenty of rescues of seabirds, pelicans, swans, ibis, darter, herons. A lot of people concerned about the state of the river. They want to establish it again as a place where you can swim. At one stage in life, all the industrial sites on the Parramatta River were moved to here. This is clearing up now a fair bit. There's booms to catch trash. So it needs a lot of work, but it's really beautiful on the side. Sometimes there's botulism and E. coli that the birds will catch from eating bad stuff. If they've got botulism or E. coli, they tend to come to the side of the shore, to come near you, to get help. So lots of times I just dive in and grab them and then go for help. The more people look, the more pelicans we save. Just got to let us know. But here, this is paradise for pelicans. You find them all over Botany Bay, but sometimes there'll be 20 to 30 come into here when this is full of mullet. There used to be hardly any mangroves down there. 9 years ago, there were like a quarter of what they are now, and they're growing rapidly now. That's good. That's a sign of a healthy waterway.
I've been involved with the river for about the last 15 years since we moved here. I do a lot of river cleanups with my boat. I do some pelican rescues, and we just generally love the river and try and keep it as a nice place. When it's a hot day and the water has good clarity, I'm not shy to go for a swim in the river, and I don't think anyone else should be shy either. I've seen plenty of fish, plenty of eels, the odd turtle. People swim in rivers all over Australia. So long as you're safe and careful about it, I don't think it's a problem. The Cooks River is a good example of how messed up a river can get over time. I think now there's a real push to look after environment, to look after country, and that's what we like to think we're doing.